Afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Informer AI Community Conversation. On behalf of the Washington Informer, we're grateful to have you with us for what we hope will be a practical, honest, and community centered, most of all, discussion about artificial intelligence and how it is impacting media and public trust. Now, I know I'm not the only person here who's definitely taken notice of how AI is already shaping everything from how information is created to how it's distributed and even how it's understood. And I'm definitely guilty of being tricked by a couple of deep fakes before. So I'm personally excited for today's conversation just so we can demystify that impact and ground it in real world experiences across journalism, business, and community leadership. So, to help set the stage, we'll begin with a short introductory workshop that provides shared context for today's discussion. With that being said, I am pleased to welcome Sterling McKinley of Clarity AI Solutions, who will talk us through key AI concepts and offer practical skills to guide the conversation ahead. Sterling, I'll turn it over to you.
Jada, thanks for having me here. I'm so excited to be here today talking about AI, and we're at a point in history where AI is changing everything. You see it in the news, you see it in the media. AI is really changing everything. But I want everyone to really take, a pause and realize where we're at now. I think we're experiencing a huge technological shift. If you go back in time, you think about things like the cell phone, you think about the automobile, the printing press. We're living through that right now, and it's imperative that everybody takes advantage of that and uses that, whether in your business, whether in your career, whether in your community, whether in grants, government. AI is touching everything. And I want to say that there's a lot of fear now about AI, what it can do, the mistakes it's going to make, potential fraud and abuse. That's all true. That's going to happen. But at its core, I want you to remember that AI is a tool. AI is a tool. It is not the enemy. The enemy, if you want to call it that, is other companies, other organizations that are going to use AI to move faster and smarter than you are. So this is the time for you to use AI. And I say start out like this. Make a list. What are 3 to 5 things in your job that are key, but you don't like doing? And then ask AI, log into Claude, log into Copilot or Gemini and ask it, how can AI help me do this task and get it done? Because that's what it's all about, using AI as an assistant to help you get things done smarter and also even faster. I also believe that AI is the end of guessing. We guess about so many things, what time, what medication, what grants, what area needs certain services. But if you think about it, we live in an age now where digital is everywhere. Everything is tracked. We have emails, we have texts, we have phone calls, we have PDFs, we have videos, everything. But we're not making the most of that information. I firmly believe that in the world right now, there's a lot of problems, both big and small. But guess what? The answers are already here. We have the answers, and the answers are hidden in our data. We have now to use AI to extract information from that data. For example, if you run a nonprofit, you can upload your quarterly reports, your client feedback summaries to a tool like Gemini or Notebook LM and ask it questions about that data and pull that. So you don't have to guess about your next service, about your next product, where you should put your money at. The data is good to tell you. So we're moving to a time now where you want to pair your gut instincts with data. And that's what AI can really do. It will help you sift through information at scale and help you understand what data and what points need to be done. Now, I think talking about AI, we can't talk about the safety concerns. People are scared about AI. When you say AI, the first thing we think about is Terminator and robots taking over the world. And yes, there is some things to be concerned about. And I say, like every technology, there are people that are used to do bad things. Let's take your car. Cars are fabulous. They've changed the world, how we get around, how we move, how we shop, live, and work. But guess what? Somebody can drive a car drunk and they can hit somebody and cause an accident. That is a result of driving. But driving has so many positive benefits. I think we have to keep that in mind. And we also need to set up rules to safeguard AI and make sure you use it responsibly. So in your daily life, as you use AI, would encourage you, one, to use it with caution. So first, you want to fact check it. And this is called the human in the loop approach. People think AI is this magical button that you just press a button like your microwave or the washing machine, and you come back an hour later to heat up meal or to wash clothes. AI doesn't work like that. You have to give it clear instructions on what you want it to do to achieve those. I like to say the better the input, the better the output. I'll share a funny story. So I have a son, he was 3 years old, and one day I was making lunch for him, and I noticed he was a little ashy, a little skin was dry, and I told him to go in the bathroom and put him to lotion. And he comes out, and he's covered head to toe with lotion, and I laughed. But I thought about that's the way that many people are using AI tools. They're saying, create a summary, create a post for me, create a document, create a proposal, but they're not really thinking about giving it clear instructions. So I would say you always want to make sure that you are giving AI clear instructions what you want. So before you take that output from AI and you put in social media, you put it in other places, you want to make sure that it is accurate, that it's saying the right things. You want to check the things like the time, the date, the color, the shape, all those things, make sure they're right. Next, you make sure it's free of bias. In this community of colors, that's something that we should be concerned about. Making sure that it's saying things that are true and not false, not stereotypes. And also make sure that the data that you're feeding to AI is clean data. It's free of bias and free of errors. Because if you put in data that's not clean, you're going to get bad results. So make sure the data you're pulling from is clean. And also, you can ask AI to tell you what is the source, give it the citations and where you got the information from, and you can fact check it. And the last thing I will say when using AI is just make sure you're not sharing any sensitive information because it is a tool. It is something that has to be safeguarded. I think those are some of the key steps that you AI safe defensively. And to close out, I'll just say this. AI is affecting everything. A lot of people say that this is your AI, but AI is already here. It's already working quality behind the scenes, behind your favorite applications, behind your email, your GPS, your Spotify, streaming services, whatever you use, it's already here. But now is the time that you must make AI work for what you're doing. And I don't want to scare anybody, but you don't have long. We all have heard of digital divide and bad news, but they're getting wider and wider. I predict I would say 24 to 48 months, the gap is going to be insurmountable. So now is the time to lean in with AI. And you don't have to be an expert. You can just use it every day in your life. You can ask the questions, make mistakes. And AI is one of those tools that the more you use it, the more it makes sense to you, the more you understand of how I can use this tool to make my job, to make my career or what I ever do work faster and also smarter. So do this. I would commit to using AI every day, at least 3 times. That could be writing a prompt. That could be asking it a question, asking it to draft the email, asking it to look at this proposal for me and summarize it into key points. It could be summarizing meeting notes. But the more you use AI, the more natural it's going to become. And one last thing, I'm going to caution you that there's no rule book to AI. A lot of people want a rule book, and AI is turning everything on its head. Normally with computers, you ask a computer a question, you get an answer. But now with AI, you can collaborate. You can have a conversation with AI. You can ask the question, and then ask a follow-up question. And that's amazing. So you want to keep that in mind. But commit to using AI every day and finding ways to use it in your business. Because trust me, no matter what business, what vertical industry you're in, AI is having an effect. And my hope for you is that you don't let some startup, somebody else come along using AI that's going to move faster and move smarter than you are. So make a commitment to use AI every day because it's already here and it's so powerful. use it and make it work for
Thank you,
you and your
Sterling, for that
business.
grounding overview. You definitely raised some fine points that I'm looking forward to us exploring a little bit deeper in this conversation today. And before we do that, I do want to take a moment to thank our various sponsors who helped make today's discussion possible. First, starting with the Greater Washington Black Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for your partnership and leadership in helping bring this event together and ensuring that this conversation is not just in this space, but a region-wide conversation for businesses and community stakeholders. For, as I found out earlier today, the NAACP Image Award nominated Warden Black. Thank you for sharing your expertise and for contributing through Liz's participation, which we'll get to in a second, but overall just helping amplify this event through your promotion and networks. It means so much to us. And lastly, but definitely not least, well, second to last, not least, Trusting News. We're very grateful for your ongoing work, not only in 2025, but as we imagine moving forward, your guidance, learning, and research as it pertains to the best practices, for AI have been extremely pivotal for us setting up this event. And going forward, your insights will continue to inform how local newsrooms approach this very careful and responsible moment. And lastly, but certainly not least, to the Local Media Association, thank you for your continued support and partnership as we explore sustainable, forward-looking methods for local journalism. With that being said, it is my great pleasure to introduce Aisha Bond, President of the Greater Washington Black Chamber of Commerce, who will share brief remarks on AI and its implications for business and entrepreneurship. Aisha? Oh, you're muted, Aisha.
Can you hear me
There we
now?
go.
There we go. Hello, everyone.
Yes,
Thank
we
you for
can.
having me. It's incredibly exciting to be here and to be having this conversation. I was just listening to Sterling, and I have to say, so many of the thoughts and um, I guess the intention behind the Chamber's efforts and programs really echoes some of the things that Sterling was saying. I want to start by giving you guys a little story,
Absolutely.
if I may, a little anecdotal moment. Last year, and I'm just coming off of the CES conference, the largest tech conference, certainly in North America. It's a massive, huge tech conference where people are having all kinds of conversations, obviously, but also showcasing a lot of new technology, startups, et cetera. I mean, there's just something there for everyone. I'm just coming from that conference last week, and I was there last year where I was on a panel discussing AI and these kinds of topics. And one of the things that I said last year that I have held true moving forward and that I bring to this audience as well is something I said spontaneously on the stage. And they asked me, how do you feel about AI taking positions from others? Or is it a tool that could be threatening? Or is it a tool we should be celebrating? And I said, I like to think about it as yay I instead of AI, because AI has in many ways um, come with some connotations, particularly for those who are not already tech savvy or who are not already on top of and are well informed about all tech nuances, et cetera, which I think is many of us. It's certainly me. I am constantly in a learning space around technology. But having been at CES and having had some conversations then, and now the deeper conversations that I have had now, I certainly started to understand that this is something we should be enthusiastic about, which is why I said, yay, I. And we all kind of had a good laugh about that. But I hold on to that because I want to impart upon this community and all of the communities that you go on further to discuss AI and other technological advancements with, that we should have enthusiasm around embracing it. Another quote that I continue to live by at large is something author Ash says, which is start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, which is what I resonated in Sterling's conversation, which is like, listen, this is big. There's a lot happening, and it's bigger than most of us. But if we demystify the process or take sort of small bites where we stand and start to utilize it where we can and where it makes sense, our learning, our understanding, and our pathways will grow. So I want to emphasize that. I want to say also, every year I come back from CES, not necessarily with new knowledge, but with new words that I know I need to look up, right? So sometimes it's just a matter of knowing what you don't know so that you can spend time delving into those spaces, exploring that work, and finding reliable resources to help you advance in those spaces. I hope that when you all are thinking about technology, that you will find that the Greater Washington, D.C. Black Chamber it's also a resource to you. We are thinking quite a bit, certainly about bringing productivity tools, if nothing else, to our membership and to the business community here in this greater Washington, D.C. area and beyond. We are working diligently behind the scenes to figure out how we bring some of those things to you all in curriculum form, in conversation form like this, and in other forms that are meaningful. And so we invite everybody to be a part of that conversation with us. And I'm very excited, as all of you all, just to hear from all of the panelists and the people that are here with us today. So thank you again for having me and having the Chamber as a part of this very meaningful moment.